warm welcome. Today we have with us Mr. Murali Balakrishna Menon, who is the Director and Chief Information Security Officer at Atos India. A very warm welcome, sir. Thank you for joining at CISO TV.
Thank you, Urmi.
Thank you, sir. It's our pleasure to have you at the platform. Yeah. And before we begin with, especially in terms of the cybersecurity landscape in the current scenario, we would love to hear about you. If you can briefly introduce yourself to our CISO audience and how your experience has been over the decades. If you can share some insights with our audience.
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me for this interview.
Yeah. It's okay.
As introduced by you, my name is Murali Menon, Murali Balakrishna Menon, whatever you can call. And I've been Chief Information Security Officer for Atos since 2008, beginning of the year. And I've spent almost now more than 50 years in Atos. Before that, I was in the armed forces. I spent about 22 years plus in the Indian Navy in information warfare area. And the journey has been very good. First in one dimension and then moving to civil side in another dimension. And both experiences have been extremely good. Was involved with so many changes in the technology, implementations across the globe. I've been also handling different responsibilities over these many years, regional, country, and so on. And it was a real interesting journey with the technology, I would say, to see the change that has taken place in Atos, as well as learning so many things during this journey.
I think absolutely. I think it has indeed been an incredible journey at your end, and the evolution that we have seen in the sphere of technology, I think we have witnessed it all through. And it would definitely be a lovely interaction with you in terms of understanding the cybersecurity challenges and the current scenario. So with that regard, we want to understand that in your opinion, what do you think are some of the most critical cybersecurity challenges faced by organizations today in various industry across?
Yeah, this is like a cat and mouse chase, and it will always be. We will always be facing the challenges and trying to mitigate those challenges. Ransomware, for example, extortion has been there for some time, and it was initially focused with malware and extorting payments from customers or users, etc. The initial concept was encrypting the entire data of the user and trying to extort money from the victim.
Sure.
But today it is not encryption, but inaccessibility to the system itself, and trying to extort as fast as possible the required or demanded amount. So this is the threat which is going to remain, and these challenges we have to face. The cloud security area or cloud threat, you can say, from the third parties, because majority of the database of the company are residing on the third party cloud, and the security aspects of those cloud infrastructure, we are not sure about that, how it is being maintained and how safe it is from the privacy point of view as well as from the external attacks. The third is mobile malware, because the increase of mobile devices across globe, right? Now each and every individual, including children, will find with a mobile, right? So there are several applications that keep coming day in and day out, which gets installed on the system, and imposing the threats on the mobile. Then comes wipers and destructive malware. Is some kind of ransomware only that can create data breaches or wipe the entire data. That's why it is called wipers. And this this experienced a resurgence somewhere in 2022, and there are multiple families of wipers, and this has been used in the Ukraine-Russia war as well, by carrying out cyber warfare. Then weaponization of the legitimate tools, like many penetration testing, system administration tool, malware can be, also weaponized, right, for an offensive purposes. So it depends who is the attacker on the other side who will carry out those kind of attacks. And the last, there are many. The prominent one is zero-day vulnerability, which we have been hearing, and especially through supply chains, because that is a vulnerable area where third parties are involved, and your data or their access is what is causing the vulnerability for cyber attackers. Starburst is one of the incident that occurred earlier related to supply chain vulnerability. IoT threats, Internet of Things, everything is Internet today. Okay, connected cars, for example, right? Somebody can always attack those connectivities and take control of the car. Right? Generative AI, we are hearing every now and then that how AI can be useful as well as can be destructive. Okay, we'll see subsequently if there is opportunity to discuss on that. Then vulnerable devices, there are several vulnerabilities that pop up on the devices, and because of the business reasons or unavailability of the system, these vulnerabilities do not get mitigated or patches are not updated. So this can cause challenges. Yeah, that's it.
I think, yeah, as you mentioned about the challenges, especially across the zero trust and how the current scenario around AI, machine learning, we'll definitely talk about it. And, while you mentioned about the challenges, we would love to understand that is there any specific cybersecurity strategy or approach that you find particularly effective in today's threat landscape that you mentioned?
Yeah, it is very important that every organization strategize proactively than reactively. Okay, we need to be prepared for, or we can say we need to play with the mind of the cyber attacker, how the attacker is going to, carry out his next move. Right. So it is important that your infrastructure is absolutely monitored 24/7, and whatever alerts come, whether minor or major, we take actions on that and try to mitigate or resolve those alerts. Okay, so in that account, the incident management becomes very important. That moment you see an alert and you raise an incident, you carry out investigation on that and see that the incident is closed and within certain stipulated timeline which has been defined in your policy. So that is one part. The second is upskilling of the security professionals. Right, they need to be abreast with the changing technology. They need to keep reading, keep studying about the new technologies that are coming in nowadays. And also, doing a certification is not sufficient. If you are doing or you are qualified for certain certificate, it is important that what is learned is also applied. Okay. Else it is of no value to organization as well as the individual. So the third part is the strategy also need to be discussed in the boardroom. right? What you plan to do for next 4 to 5 years, right? How the technology is going to shape up, how it is going to impose the challenges, and what you plan to address, and what would be uh, estimated budget that can be expected year on year. Okay.
From your perspective, what do you think that are the emerging trends or the technologies that will actually have a significant impact? As you mentioned about these strategies also, that there must be certain kind of technologies or trends that are in mind that is actually going to have a significant impact in the cybersecurity landscape in the coming years.
Yes, you're right. Um, we are hearing a lot about generative AI, right?
Right.
So generative AI can be used in cybersecurity, like smart authentication, right? Where you can say zero trust kind of authentication. Then automatic incident response. I just spoke about incident response. Uh, is more automated, better it will be. The next level of phishing attack, we've heard in the newspaper about deepfake attacks, which is used through AI, chat GPT, right? Then Internet of Things or IoT cyber attacks, because of using weak protocols or weak passwords. Cyber resilience, you can say that is something you think beyond the cybersecurity, right? One is to protect your infrastructure systems, etc. Another is thinking beyond that, how to sustain if an attack takes place, and how an organization is going to continue business, how it is going to sustain those attacks. Okay? Then zero trust or less than zero trust, some people call, wherein you use adaptive technologies, which is holistic, which is AI powered, realistic, and so on. And of course, fight against cyber warfare. This state sponsored, like many countries will be doing business with Russia. And the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia would have impacted, okay, because many European countries or European Union or US are not performing any kind of business with Russia. There are sanctions which are imposed. So either way, from sanction perspective or certain project which is already ongoing in those countries will get impacted, and also there can be an attempt on the other side to carry out cyber attacks for imposing sanctions. Okay, then other thing is, along with it, also we need to see the cybersecurity regulations. That those also needs to be, defined or modified or reviewed to align with the changes in these emerging technologies.
Right. And so you were just mentioning about the zero trust security model, which is actually gaining a lot of popularity. So, could you share some insights into how this model enhances cybersecurity, and what are the considerations that organizations should keep in their mind when they are adapting to it?
Yes. When we say earlier, the thought process was that trust but verify. Okay, that's why we used to have passwords, and then the passwords get renewed at a defined frequency, and you introduce a new password. So password is always identified against a human being or a user. So uh, in case of zero trust, the point to be noted is that there is no physical entering of any password, okay, because those which can be misused by anyone, right? My password can be used by somebody else. So in this, the technology that you use is biometric, okay, multi-factor authentication or retina scanner and so on, in combination with one-time password or OTP, which we call it. So introducing this kind of technology will certainly reduce the number of incidents, or also reduce the number of attacks that takes place on the infrastructure. And yes, and zero trust model is what is being used by many government. I think government of India also has introduced zero trust model in especially in the travel area, Ministry of Tourism or Civil Aviation. Okay, and some for the education side also, some banks have used the zero trust model, and the considerations that normally this technology gives is continuous verification. Okay, it is not that once you enter the password and then um, it is stopped until you log in next. Okay, so this model will actually continuously verify what identification mechanism has been used. Then it also takes into consideration the limit of the blast radius. That's uh, even if there is an attack, it reduces the effect. Okay, it doesn't allow the effect to spread across. Okay, so that is limit blast radius, and then last is the automatic context collection and response. So basically, behavioral analytic of the users, what is the pattern that they follow, and those aspects are considered while performing the zero trust security model.
Okay, all right. So when it comes to technologies like AI and machine learning, which is at the same time increasingly being used in cybersecurity landscape, so how do you think that these technologies, as you were mentioning, that these technologies are actually again taken into advantage, and at the same time we have certain disadvantages as well around it. So how do you think that these technologies contribute to threat detection and responses, and what are their limitations across?
Okay, we have heard about big data. Okay,
Right.
big data is an area where there is tremendous amount of data over several databases, right? So here the machine learning can help in protection of this data in terms of privacy, okay, and security, and also for machine to machine conversation. Like when the machine is talking to another machine, there's no physical involvement, right? So there's a protection required as to what conversation or what information is being passed from one machine to another machine. And the other part is deep learning, on how much depth one can go into in understanding how the data is getting transferred, where it is getting stored, how it is being protected, and what are the measures implemented. Malware prediction, I told you that we have to be proactive. So prediction becomes very important. So malware prediction modeling comes into play here when you talk about machine learning. Then inconsistencies, okay, of pattern of recognition of users. Several users, we are talking about enterprise class, right? You are not talking about one or two system or an enterprise infrastructure. Then this kind of technology will help in understanding the user working patterns, okay, and try to recognize who is doing what. The other part is to cut down false positive. Okay, many a times you get an alert which is actually not uh, uh, causing an impact. Okay, it could be a false positive. So how to cut down those false positive? So this technology can help in doing that, and automatic detection and response, incident management specifically. If there's an automated process, AI driven, which is gives you complete visibility into the incident. Okay, because again we are talking about enterprise wide analytics. Okay, and smart threat modeling, which they have to work for, and the plus points are the precisely trying to pinpoint where the threat is and trying to contain. Like For example, if there is a phishing email or ransomware attack on one system, then that particular system gets contained. It doesn't allow it to spread anywhere else. So precision and containment, and then compliance governance automatically. It allows you to have an effective governance across the infrastructure, also maintaining the compliance requirements of the policy which is implemented on the infra.
Okay, so now when we are talking about these cybersecurity practices, at the same time, I think as you were also mentioning that maintaining a robust cybersecurity posture is very much important and crucial at the same time. So, how do you think that it should be possible to bring a balance between the need for the innovation as well as the flexibility around these cybersecurity practices?
Yeah, primarily we all should remember that security doesn't mean blocking innovation. Security means protecting innovation and allowing the business to happen, right? So there are various methods. Only points that time and again get raised is cost, right? Security comes at a cost. So how, in a cheaper way, we can strike this balance? Secure deployment of new online services, one aspect. We use cloud, okay, and there's a third party who's managing the cloud, and you store information on the cloud on certain contract which has been signed between the cloud provider and the organization. But sensitive and critical data are not stored in the cloud, and it is protected elsewhere. Right, that one way to look to strategize it, and integrating security into different applications, right? Like multi-factor authentication implementation, which will help unauthorized access into any area of the infrastructure. Then adopting experimental approach to IT innovation. We don't straight away go and jump into an innovation, right? Allow it to evolve, right? In phases, right? Understand what the innovation is about, what are the security issues related to those innovation, try to plug it, audit it, and so many other things. Do a gap analysis, fix those gaps, and then move with the innovation to the production, right? So perform a POC, analyze everything, fix all problems, and then move to the production. So these are certain aspects one need to remember when keeping a balance between innovation and cybersecurity practices, as well as flexibility in using those technologies. And yes, you will also have certain monitoring devices in terms of a dashboard or something, which should be able to provide different reports from different tools that will tell you what is the score based on the KPI that the organization has achieved. That will give good, good picture of the security posture of the organization.
So, now, what are your thoughts when it comes to the evolving regulatory landscapes that is there and which is actually concerned towards this data privacy and security? So, could you share some highlight on that?
Yeah. As we all know that GDPR came in a few years back, and there is global data protection regulations, and it has been stringent for all the business within European Union countries, right? Similarly, there are various local laws that are mandatory if you're doing business with US, SOC, etc. Some of the other requirements. And India also have evolved from there, and we have also tabled the data protection bill in 2021 in the parliament, which was under discussion, and people are waiting for the outcome of the same. And since we have moved from the regional business into global business, these laws becomes mandatory for everyone to implement for doing a healthy business or ethical business, right? So that's how it has evolved from regional to global, from regulatory perspective as well. Um, and that's the way, that's a change that IoT has brought in, right? And we can't escape those changes and those and the evolved regulatory norms of different countries.
All right. So, a while back, you were mentioning about, the cybersecurity awareness, how important it is that, and the training process. And it is very important that the employees even get themselves adapted to the evolving changes in the cybersecurity scenario. So, in terms of that, human factor has always remained a significant challenge in cybersecurity. So how do you think that these organizations can actually, enhance this cybersecurity awareness and the training programs to empower employees as at the first line of defense against these cybersecurity threats?
Absolutely. Employee, as you say, human beings are weakest link of the entire system, and it is important to keep them trained. Okay, trained from ignorance, trained from mistake. So it is really necessary that every organization conducts a regular training. And when I say training, it's not that we conduct the training now every day. Forget about it for next 2 years. Right? It has to be very regular trainings, and should be aligned to the changes that has taken place or the new challenges that have appeared in the cybersecurity area, so that employees know or aware about that. And accordingly, this training also should cover all the security policies of the organization as to what is expected from them, what is expected from the customer, and what are their prime responsibilities towards the organization, right? And many organizations have also performing this kind of trainings at the family level, right? Their spouse, their children, because children also have laptops, they use the mobile, right? They can sometimes use the laptop of their father,
Yeah.
right? And upload some application or all. So it is important that there's a holistic training across, and the training should be very interesting. It should there should be gamification of the training and certain scores or incentives or something given where employee would like to remember it what they have learned, right? There can be different campaigns like phishing email campaign, send a mock email of phishing link asking to provide information, and if any employee by mistake clicks the link and provides the information, then the tool itself will pop up asking the employee to perform security awareness training with certain side endpoints that you have been phished or whatever. So these are the things that can be incorporated, and once employee becomes aware of this, they will certainly follow the norms. In this particular training, another important aspect to remember is the subcontract compliance. Many times, who are working in the organization and they don't undergo same kind of training. Okay, so there are chances that they can breach the policies or can violate certain norms of the organization. And same also goes with the suppliers, third parties who are actually associated with the organization, and security requirements need to be conveyed either through the contract or otherwise to these third party or suppliers.
Right. So as you mentioned about, some of the great strategies around, how to bring awareness amongst your employees, either through gamifications or through score pointers. I think that actually is a great way to morally boost your employees and at the same time bring into an effective learning process. So moving ahead, when we talk about the future, so could you share some insights or highlight what would be the tech focus areas and priorities over the next 3 to 5 years to come by?
Yeah, it is easy as well as tough to say that what will happen in next 3 to 5 years, because we will be basing ourselves in what exists today. Okay, and how it will shape, we don't know, right? Ubiquitous connectivity, right, is another, because it's all connected everywhere, and almost on daily basis, certain app is coming up, right? For example, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, we never thought that we can see internet or we can access internet through your TV, or we can access internet through your refrigerator. You're operating your robo or cleaning your house as soon as you land from the airport through your mobile, right? So somebody you're making work remotely, right? So that is the power of connectivity that has taken place over the years. The second part is abstraction and componentization. Very difficult word, but this is something related to microservices, right? Like earlier, we used to have data centers, server rooms, etc., and more in a central, localized way, right? But cloud has brought in distributed computing, right? So we provide, let's say, certain section of services for the cloud. Okay, so that that is one part. Then even Apple or any other mobile, you see every day you will find new app coming up, right? Because they have to uh, come up with app to remain in competition, right? So there is no choice for the company. So there are associated risks which needs to be identified, and so these are other things which we'll have to compete with in next 3 to 5 years. Then hyper automation is another way, that is speed at which the automation is taking place. Okay, we have Alexa at home. And Alexa does most of the job. Switch on my fan, switch on the TV, or lock the door. Or now, if you integrate it with AI, ChatGPT, you can say, Alexa, please get hacking tools. Okay, and through using AI, it will bring the hacking tools and say, okay, this is the IP address, perform hacking. Right? So sitting on your chair without making much effort, you're making Alexa do all that. So that is the kind of challenges that you will see in future, right? And so, from the priority perspective, or focus area should be that how to protect our data, our infra, customer data, specifically, right? To from these kind of activities, and also considering that AI is going to become more powerful, right? How we are going to counter it with several security measures that can be implemented. Think about an Olympic going on where somebody is, clocking a certain time while swimming, right? And sitting at one place, they're altering the timing of the winner. That can be really, really harmful or impactful at the stature of Olympics. Right? So these are the things we need to focus on and watch how it is growing, try to analyze it, see how best we can implement our security measures.
Absolutely. I think the things that you have mentioned and the power of technology that is driving us is humongous. And with that comes a lot of challenges and cybersecurity issues, which again needs to be mitigated through a lot of awareness. So I think with this, we have come to the end of a very insightful discussion and the session with you. And it has been indeed a great learning. Thank you for sharing your time and your insightful knowledge with us.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you once again. Have a nice day. Thank you once again for joining us. Welcome. Thanks.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.